Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So today my group consists of Zahran, Aisyah and I, Tunku Izni, will be talking about the current issues in industrial and organizational psychology. So the three main issues that we're trying to outline today would be firstly the online recruitment issue, secondly sexual harassment issue, and thirdly the current in-trend issue would be work from home. So I'll pass to Zahran. He will start off with the online recruitment issue.
Hello, my name is Ahmad Zahran. I will cover the first main issue, which is online recruitment. As we all know, the world is currently facing with a COVID-19 pandemic. With such issue, many companies are turning to online recruitment compared to the traditional online recruitment such as online interviewing and screening the potential applicants through social media. According to Leonardi and colleagues 2013, online recruitment is mainly used by organizations to communicate with external connections or for internal communication between potential applicants. Here we can see two studies done in two different countries. In USA, according to Harris poll conducted in May 2020, 52% of employers use online recruitment. The number is higher compared to 2018 and 2019. Similarly, a study conducted in Malaysia, according to Monster Employment Index, Malaysia increased 49% in online recruitment activity between April 2020 and April 2021. Way before the COVID-19 pandemic, there were already certain companies implemented online recruitment. But why do organizations turn to online recruitment? Firstly, it has been found that online recruitment can reduce costs. According to Leonardi and colleagues, many organizations create their own digital advertising websites. Secondly, it has been found that online recruitment can improve performance, specifically in creativity of the worker. Thirdly, it can help to engage with the applicants. To engage with the potential applicants, online recruiting provides a unique and effective platform for connecting with current applicants and future applicants. They can communicate with one another outside of the organization using social media. LinkedIn is one of the examples of the platform that are widely used in today's world. A complete LinkedIn profile will summarize your professional experience to your connections, current and future employers and recruiters. Even though online recruitment found to have certain advantages by certain companies, but there are still some disadvantages. Bias is one of the disadvantages of online recruitment. Minorities and people from socially disadvantaged communities are the victim of this issue. For example, we can see that bias may arise among ethnic minorities, women, older employees, and low-income people. Such bias occurs due to the organization demographic and the nature of the organization. With such bias, it would be a disadvantage to the minorities, and this issue could reduce the company performance. This is because they expect that non-minorities will help in the company performance. But the truth is, some minorities perform way better than the non-minorities. We can relate this issue to the stigma theory by Goffman 1963. This story suggests that people who seem to have a stigma trait, which is any trait that is depreciated in society, such as minority racial groups, women, may face discrimination because of it. From this story, the minorities are already at disadvantage in the traditional online recruitment. However, with the implementation of online recruitment, it further intensifies this issue, where minorities are more discriminated compared to the non-minorities. The second issue of the online recruitment is misrepresentations and misattributions. Many organizations claim that using online recruitment allows them to collect more accurate information about job candidates. However, this is not true, because according to High House 2008, it found that employers fail to assess future success of candidates when using unstructured evaluation method. This is because some of the applicants they lie about themselves on the social media. We can relate this issue to the theory of the self-deception. Self-deception emerges as a way of assisting humans in better deceiving others. It has been discovered that deceiving oneself improves self-confidence. However, when we self-deceive in the context of online recruitment, it will lead to the negative consequences, especially to the company. For example, when false personality or self-presented in the media are not in line with their performance at work, it will bring failures to the self and the company. There are several methods to the issues of the online recruitment. Firstly, organizations should conduct longitudinal studies on their followers. Such market analysis will reveal not just who is being approached, but also how frequently possible candidates from different demographic contexts are following the organization jobs opening. Secondly, organization could be able to expand their target audience. Organization must understand whether online recruitment strategy aligns with the organization's general goal or mission. Lastly, organization should develop updated legal and ethical guidelines governing the use of online recruiting. Organizations should proceed cautiously when developing policies and practice to hire and assess applicants. And next, I will pass to Aisha to explain about the sexual harassment.
Hi, I'm Aisha. I'll be talking about the issue of sexual harassment in the workplace. So, sexual harassment happens when individuals are subjected to unwelcome sexual behavior as a result of their sexual orientation. Because of its frequency and negative impacts on individuals, sexual harassment has become a major concern among psychologists. Sexual harassment is believed to trigger eating disorders, drug abuse, work withdrawal, depression, self-doubt, and reduce overall mental health in their victims. Workplace sexual harassment in particular is described as demands for sexual favors and maintaining a hostile, aggressive working atmosphere, which is widely criticized as a human discrimination and a breach of human rights. Some consequences of workplace sexual harassment include decrease in efficiency and staff satisfaction, and also increase in absenteeism and employee turnover, all of which may jeopardize the cooperation involved. So there are three distinct categories of sexual harassment. The first one, we have gender harassment. It is described as offensive sexual verbal and non-verbal action that express offensive view towards one's sexual orientation. Okay, this gender harassment include obscene sexual expression, flashing, showing sexual photographs at workplace, and also emailing or texting pornographic material. Gender harassment is often considered as the least severe type of harassment, but it really is the most common type of harassment that happens in the workplace. Okay, next we have sexual coercion. It is the practice of requiring sexual favors in exchange for incentive, such as a transfer, better working arrangements, or a positive ranking. Sexual coercion encompasses all kinds of sexual interaction, such as intercourse, oral sex, kissing, and so on. This workplace coercion can take place on the job site during working hours or after hours at a company-sponsored function, such as a holiday gathering. And last but not least, we have the unwanted sexual attention. It manifests itself in the form of inappropriate remarks, staring, as well as touching. Apart from that, it also includes pulling, pinching, groping, and purposely grinding up against someone in a sexual manner. This unwanted sexual attention has been identified as the second most common form of workplace sexual harassment. Okay, now I'll be talking about the psychological perspective of sexual harassment. As it weakens and disempowers its victim, sexual harassment can lead to stress-related mental and physical disorders such as PTSD and also depression. This sexual harassment is indeed a major risk for unhealthy body appearance and eating disorder, which has the potential to negatively impact the victim's sense of well-being. Furthermore, sexual harassment may unintentionally impede achievement and career goals by establishing a threatening or offensive atmosphere that undermines the victim's motivation and as well further distort their ability to achieve those goals. When sexual harassment causes victims to quit their employment, this could create a negative consequences on their career development due to the shortage of working experiences and also the difficulties in receiving references from their supervisors or colleagues. Next, most importantly, is the explanation for why sexual harassment occurs. According to biological viewpoints, a male's biological inclination to mate or reproduce extensively drive their sexual exploitation towards female. Sexual harassment meant to indicate male sexual desire, but it is misinterpreted by women who are not interested for a sexual encounter. For instance, unwanted sexual attention may also emerge of sexual desire, which is certainly the case for those women who have been sexually harassed. To highlight, men's view and perception of masculinity are strong prediction of sexual harassment, in which reinforcing biases and actions that further lead to this negative behavior. Now, I'll be relating few theories with sexual harassment. The first one, we have vulnerable victim hypothesis. This hypothesis explains individuals with low social cultural status, such as women and those with low organizational dominance, are more likely to be harassed by those with greater authority. Gender discrimination in the workplace and social inequality often give men wider organizational power and cooperation, and they are more likely to hold high-status jobs, in which this encourage males to harass their female colleagues. Okay, the second theory we have is the social power theory, in which sexual harassers frequently wield many sources of control and authority. Any individual may have the freedom to impose demands upon others based on their professional standings, which some harassers tend to misuse this legitimate authority to get away from misconduct or to feel that their dominant position grants them the right to sexually harass. Managers, employers, and clients, for instance, are often more inclined to harass foreign women employees. Since the harasser is perceived to have the authority to make demands on the victim, the target will feel obliged to cooperate with the harassment. The last theory that we included is the stigma theory. While many people are subjected to sexual harassment at work, most do not report this issue. Reason for the lack of reporting include self-esteem risk and the possibility of secondary victimization, where women avoid being judged and blamed for the harassment they endure. This theory further explains that people stop expressing a stigma due to self-blame and guilt or apprehension of unfavorable opinions by others. Finally, is ways to combat sexual harassment. First and foremost, it is critical to change the corporate environments and dynamics in order to eliminate sexual harassment. Implementing consistent anti-harassment practices and protocol is an important step in reforming the normative context that underpin sexual harassment. Such sexual harassment initiative will act as a disencouragement to those who would sexually harass other people and provide victims with opportunities to rectification. Companies with the lowest numbers of workplace sexual harassment are those who constructively introduce and implement sexual harassment codes and regulation. Sexual harassment training and initiative is needed to maximize reporting, increase corporate policy awareness to what constitutes sexual harassment, as well as to minimize victims' shaming.
Moving on to the last issue, the most current in-trend issue that a lot of us are currently experiencing, which is the work from home issue in the midst of COVID-19. Alright, so we can start off by looking at some past studies. Apparently, Brynjolfsson and colleagues 2020 did affirm that the COVID-19 pandemic has transformed and impacted how people work, which includes changes in the nature of work, its diversity, the pace of the work, and even the company's value. So what does work from home actually means? So work from home is actually when a person completes all his duties, responsibilities, and job while staying at home and utilizes all their ICT devices such as laptops, mobile phones, multiple desktop computers, just to ensure their workflow is smooth. And according to a study by International Labour Organization, back in March 2020, a survey was conducted in Argentina among 250 large firms, and they found that 93% of them had adopted teleworking, especially work from home policy due to the COVID-19. 93% is such a big number, and it actually impacted a lot of companies today. So what are the objectives of raising this issue? So firstly is to raise the awareness on the current issues faced by employers and even employees in the workplace during COVID-19. Secondly, employers can discover and develop effective strategies to tackle the current issues due to COVID-19 in the workplace. And thirdly is to explore how industrial organizational psychology can be implemented in the workplace in the midst of COVID-19. Looking back at one of the article in the newspaper, it stated that Malaysian experienced the highest level of anxiety among the 28 countries polled, this is very serious and we need to raise this awareness and this issue. One of the issues that people are currently trying to adapt would be the digital transformation of work culture. This is because digital transformation is not just bringing the modern technology of it and utilizing it, but it also consists of implementing the mindset, the digital workforce mentality and attitude. Therefore, a big percentage of employees are actually trying to adapt with the technological advancement, especially the Generation X, as they lack more of digital literacy and skills. As we all know, most of the platforms that we are actively implementing would be Google Meet, Microsoft Teams and Zooms and so on. Therefore, they need to learn from scratch on how to utilize it during working from home. So few of the theories that we can integrate in this issue would be, firstly is social learning theory. This is because the new norms and skill can actually be learned by observing those who have the expertise. So for example, the employers can actually learn through their children or their younger siblings. This is because they are more tech savvy and they have more digital literacy skills. Apart from that, theory of cognitivism also happen. This is because employees that involve highly in learning and problem solving due to this COVID-19 pandemic, their level of intelligence will be modified. So therefore, if they are highly engaged with the digital transformation, as time goes by, their intelligence will be modified and they will be adapted to it and they will know how to use all the platforms that they'll be using. So according to a survey by KPMG 2020, they found that 10% of the 3,000 respondents across Malaysia, they experience lack of technological readiness, therefore decreases 24% of their productivity. Apparently, there are other issues as well, such as when they have network issues or communication barriers, it actually decreases their productivity as well, which this is something that we need to consider and look into. Some of the solutions that we can do to mitigate this digital transformation at work culture, which is firstly is to implement effective reporting evaluation system. Probably companies today can do quantitatively rather than qualitatively and they focus on the numeric numbers. This is because since everything is virtual, it's better to look at the numeric numbers. And secondly is to develop specific performance objectives. This is because since everything is virtual, it's better to make everything detailed and precise. Thirdly is to update the organization's communications policy. Probably like the time employees are expected to be free for work and also the clock in, clock out wise. And fourthly, the important part, which is to provide our employees technological skills training so they are ready for the digital transformation of work culture instead of just barging to this new culture and have the culture shock. And lastly would be to equip employees with the technological support aid. This is because not all employees are actually privileged to have their own technological devices at home. However, this work from home issue can actually lead to another issue, which is the social distancing can also lead to the loneliness feeling as well as mental health issues. Apparently, this COVID-19 has resulted in major loss of social connections. Research shows that high-quality human and social connections such as casual chats among colleagues are actually crucial for mental health and well-being. And therefore, this loneliness is considered as an epidemic due to COVID-19. Apparently, a survey done by Ipsos Malaysia 2021, they found that globally, 56% of these 12,823 online employed adults are currently experiencing anxiety due to job security, while 55% are actually stressed because of the transformation of work culture as we mentioned before, and 45% are actually stressed because of the family pressures such as childcare and so on. While specifically in Malaysia, 74% of Malaysians are currently experiencing anxiety due to job security, 67% of Malaysians are stressed because of the work culture, and 58% are now stressed due to the family pressures as well. As we can see, these are actually quite big numbers, therefore we need to take into this matter seriously. Few of the theories that we can integrate in this issue would be, firstly is the attachment theory by Bowlby 1982. This is because the theory claims that for individuals like us to survive in stressful situations such as the COVID-19, we will exert the desire to search out for others to develop sense of security. This is because loneliness in the workplace has already negative impact on employees' commitment, effective attitudes and efficiency, which this will affect their job performance. And COVID-19 had dramatically increased the risk of workers suffering from job burnout, which this is a chronic stress condition marked by persistent feelings of fatigue and illustrate a distant behavior towards work, which this is a red flag. One of the examples that we can take, which is a working parent. This is because a working parent, they are working from home, but they also have their children's childcare, which is they have to manage their online learning, or probably their child is still an infant, which is they will struggle. Apart from that, they might have an unconducive working environment. So these factors can actually really lead to job burnout. And another theory that we can look into, which is the Maslach multidimensional theory of burnout, which it comprises of 3 components. Firstly, the person will experience emotional exhaustion. Secondly, they will feel depersonalization, which they will feel detached from oneself and they will lose sense of control of their thoughts and action. And lastly, they will experience of lack of personal accomplishments. Therefore, some of the solutions that we can do to at least reduce this issue, which is the social distancing that leads to loneliness and mental health issue, would be, firstly, it is about time to address mental health issues in human resource policies. It should be addressed and discussed because we are raising this mental health awareness not just through the public, but we need to start raising the awareness in the workplace as well. And secondly, we can start implementing of virtual happy hours or virtual hangouts, just having online games with our employees and employers, or even managers can celebrate their employees' birthday virtually. Little do we know, these small things and gestures can actually make a person's day. And lastly, organizations should start equip means that could preserve employees' well-being and performance, such as they could provide assistant employee program or even psychological services, some training and also counseling. This is because they also need some sources that they can also refer to balance out their mental health.
Okay, last but not least, I will be concluding each and every topic that has been presented. For the first conclusion, we have the online recruitment. It is uncertain if online recruitment is the best approach, as these methods of data collection can yield accurate and useful information. Nevertheless, organizations must continue looking for innovation in this field to support their own policies. Next, for sexual harassment, it worries psychology because it is a serious and correlated stress, emotional and physical impairments. It causes situations that are unfair, threatening, aggressive and offensive that further interfere the victim's performance and goals. Last but not least is the working from home issue. The potential longer-term ramification of coronavirus-related work-from-home arrangement should not be overlooked in the rush to cope with the current crisis. Management should monitor the benefits and downsides of working from home arrangement, and after the threat of coronavirus has been dissipated. That's all from us. Thank you.